Hello, beautiful people. This is Rebecca with RebeccaAbraxas.com. Thanks for being here. We're remembering our greatness together, and today's topic is fear. A lot of fear about how we're going to survive, right? How we're going to be well in our bodies, how we're going to be well in our country, how we're going to be financially supported. There's so much fear around so many things in the collective. By the end of this video, I'll give you 4 ways that fear shows up and how to take those 4 ways and transform fear into something that is going to create more ease and joy in your life and be a magnet to attract something that is more delicious for your life. And by doing that, you actually put a different vibration into the collective. So that's the way we do our part from here, from the inside out. Beautiful people, thank you so much for being here and tuning in. You must really be looking for more ease and joy, and you probably have a mission to give a different vibration to the conscious collective. So awesome that you're here right now with me. And together we're remembering our greatness so that we can bring more brilliant possibilities to our planet, to our country, to our lives, to our own souls. So let's dive into this topic of fear. What do you fear most? Let me hear that in the comments. So I have several schools of thought that we're going to visit today. The first one I want to dive into is access consciousness. I studied a lot of this work several years ago, and what I learned about fear is pretty profound. And it just changed my whole perspective on it. What if fear was a distraction? Now think about this. What are you really? What do you know yourself to be really? An infinite being, a light being, a soul, a God source, a spirit, an energy, having a human experience? So if you're on this awakening journey, you've probably had that broader perspective that you are something else having a human experience, whether you want to call that a soul, a spirit, an energy, a vibration, whatever it is. When we're living from that broader perspective, fear really isn't there. So fear actually is a distraction. And in the body of work, access consciousness, they call it a distractor element. And there's always something else under fear. So if you're being distracted and swept away by fear, it's good to pause a moment. It's good to have that miracle moment. I've talked about that in several videos before this. That miracle moment when you have this aha awakening that, oh my gosh, I'm not coming from this broader perspective. When you have that aha, pause. You want to ask yourself, what is under this fear that I'm feeling? It's pretty profound what can show up. Fear is distracting you from your power as an infinite being, your power as a divine creator, your power as an individual soul, your power to manifest and create your life, your neighborhood, the people in your life, your financial situation. You have all that power. And fear is kind of a cloud over that power. It's distracting you from it. So, tune into a fear that you have and ask the question, what is under this fear? What is it distracting me from? Really, what's under a lot of fear is the fear of rejection, the fear of not being loved, the fear of not surviving, right? So when we go a little deeper and ask that question of, What's under this fear? Write it down. Get your journal. Write down all the things that come to you. Get it out of your brain, get it out of your body. And really see what's under there. And when you can lift up that cloud of fear and let go of that distraction and really look at what's happening for you, it's amazing the awareness comes up. And it's amazing how the paralyzed sensation of fear goes away, or the reactivity. So there's two things that fear really jumps us into, right? We're paralyzed. We don't do anything. Or we get super reactive, right? And both are not creating what we most desire in our lives, right? And so we can really relate to this to current events. People are scared. People are scared out of their minds. What's happening? They're scared. They're being lied to. They're scared that their well-being is at a loss. They're scared they're going to have poverty and all this stuff. They're scared that their government isn't supporting them. They're scared that the president that's going to be in charge of their lives isn't going to give them the life they want. But what's really under that fear, perhaps, is that you're actually the power that creates your life, not the government, not the this or the that. You have the power. And having that power means that someone has to step up and do something a little different, has to take a deeper look at rejection, at vulnerability. And that's scary. So it can be uncomfortable looking underneath the fear, but that's okay. It's amazing when you do, and the awareness that it'll give you and the power it'll give you is amazing. So be willing to look under the distraction of fear and see what's there. All right, fear shows up in lots of different ways. So the number 2 way fear is coming to you is past programming. And so this is where shadow work comes in. This is where we start diving deep into the subconscious a bit. What's under there? In the subconscious is a lot of past programming. And so the idea is to get super present right here, right now. So if you're right here, right now, without the past informing you, is there any reason to be fearful? So the idea is looking at what is active from the past, what is creating the thoughts and belief systems right here, right now, that isn't of the now. So it's important to take a look at the fear and ask the question, when was this? How old am I being? How old was I when I really lived this? So these questions can really help you get into the year and the past reality, really simply. And so again, it's getting under the fear. It's asking the fear what really it is. Because fear really can be helpful. And I'm going to let you know about that at the end of the video, how you can really use fear to transform your life to get what you really most desire. So that'll be at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But this right now is past programming is getting in the way of your most brilliant possibility right here, right now. So we want to dive deep into that past programming. Again, get your journal, get your pen, and ask a few questions. Here's the 3 questions you can ask. When a fear comes up, when is this? What is this? And how old am I being? And the bonus question is this mine? A lot of times fear can come to us through the collective. And yes, it can be a vibrational match. But sometimes the vibrational match isn't exactly your particular fear. So you may have a fear vibration, but say you're really scared of jelly beans and the collective is scared of chocolate. This is just a silly example, but so you're scared of jelly beans. they're scared of chocolate, and all of a sudden, you're like, I'm scared of chocolate today. It's just the fear frequency you guys are matching on. The fear of chocolate may not be yours. So you want to also ask, is this mine? And then you can, return it to sender with consciousness. You don't need that extra fear. So getting into the subconscious and the past program is key to start unraveling the fear programs so that you can live more free and with more trust and live more vulnerable and step into what you really want to be stepping into. So the third way that fear shows up is kind of interesting. This awareness came to me several months ago. It was like a huge light bulb went off in my head because personally, I have been a very fearful person, but a lot of my fears are from calculating things. And I never really saw myself as a fearful person. So this next one really rocked my world. What if the fear is coming from awareness of a possible unfolding? And so say you're driving a car, down a really windy road, okay? And all of a sudden you're looking forward and you can project and you can see possibilities of falling off the cliff or falling into the cliff or going around or crashing. Like all of a sudden it's like, do. Now, sometimes really empathetic, kind of aware, psychic people, I mean, we all have these abilities, but sometimes people have more of them, can go into all these possible timelines, all these possible multiverses. So is it possible some of your fear is actually being aware of another possibility that's being lived out in another timeline or another dimension? When I heard that, I was like, bingo, that's a lot of the fear that I'm living out. I kind of like it happens like instantaneously. You start tuning in to all the multiverses and realities and timelines. And it's okay. It's okay that you're aware of all that. What you can do in that instant is also get super present again. Come back here. So you have all these aspects of yourself living in all these timelines and multiverses. Pull them back. Pull yourself back into this present moment. That has helped me tremendously to really gather myself back here in this moment. So before we talked about getting present from this lifetime, right? Past programming from this lifetime and this reality. And in this section, I'm talking about really getting present from all the aspects and timelines that you are sharing yourself with, okay? And not just this embodiment. So you're gonna pull yourself back and get present right here, right now. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments by putting a thumbs up or a big yes. All right, so the fourth way fear is showing up is a point of focus. So it has a little bit to do with our past programming, but we're just hyper focused on this one thing. Okay, it's almost like a habit body. And think of your habit like a big flashlight, and the flashlight is just shining on this thing that's fearful for you, and you're just shining it there. So it's just a point of focus. And with awareness and that miracle moment of, oh my gosh, I'm focusing so intently on this, we get to take that flashlight and just point it over here. Create a different point of focus. Now you can do that with thoughts. You can do that with a rampage of appreciation. You can do that with toning and singing. I do that a lot. But basically, once you take the flashlight off the thing that's creating fear or just fear itself and take the flashlight over here into possibility and appreciation, this stuff's in the dark and it's not as active. So that's a way to just get out of that fear especially in the moment. Okay, just start thinking of different thoughts. Start singing a tone, singing your favorite song. Take the flashlight off the fear and to hear. Now, fear is a potent tool. So we don't want to ignore fear. But human beings in this day and age, our fear is on overdrive, okay? It no longer is the way animals use fear. They can feel it, they can feel it in their bodies, and then they react, right? They have that intuitive sense. Well, we have this frontal cortex and we have the neocortex, and we are overthinkers, right? And we start overthinking everything that we have a discomfort with, that turns into a fear. And then we are these multidimensional beings, and we can feel into all this different energy that, creates more and more fear. So I promised you I was going to give you this point around how fear can totally transform your life and align you with more ease and joy. So this is a really good segue into that moment right now. So I love looking at the Abraham Hicks emotional guidance system. And you'll notice that fear is all the way on the bottom. So when you notice that you are in fear, you're going to use fear just as a tool. All you're going to do is notice the vibration, okay? And you're going to be like, I don't feel good, because fear's here and your ecstasy and ease and joy is up here. And that contrast feels really bad. So this lets you know how bad you're feeling, lets you know how good you can feel and how far away you are from it vibrationally. Now, it doesn't mean far in time-wise. Now, you can create this skip in vibration pretty quickly. But the cool part about this fear is that it tells you that this really matters. How awful you're feeling really tells you how much this matters. So what we have to do is we have to bridge this gap. Now, there is a bunch of little emotions on our way up to ecstasy. Now, you can jump individually to them, okay? Or you can kind of make big leaps, okay? And you do that through your thoughts. You do that through thinking a better feeling thought. Now, sometimes we can just get mental about it and just create the thoughts, yet we're not feeling better. The idea is to do skips in vibration so that you make it up to that ease and joy and ecstasy. And so if you're down here at fear, you're going to be like, fear, well, I know this doesn't last forever. Okay, we're getting up there a little bit. I'm just frustrated and angry that this is happening and I feel powerless. Okay, anger. I blame my government. So blame's a little higher. But, if I really look at it, the government's not in charge of my every day and my every thought. I have more power than that, that gets up here. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to really look at my thoughts, and I'm going to look at, thinking more positive thoughts and looking at the power that I do have. I know deep down that I'm a spirit, that I'm a vibration, that I'm. And so you're getting closer. And every new feeling thought that you say, you want to feel it. Okay, it's the feeling that's not necessarily the thought that's getting you up there. You're going to make the thought, and that starts to help you feel, and then that feeling gets you up there. So fear is such an important tool that you can use to feel way better and get your vibration here so that you're matching and creating a life that's matched with that vibration. So guys, this day and age, right now, in this moment in time, it is 2021, January 17th, and we're about to get a new president, and everyone's like, what's going on? The Capitol's on lockdown. There's a lot of fear and unknown. There's a lot of fear in the unknown. Use that fear. And to get you up to this higher realm of feeling ecstasy and ease and joy, to find your power again. And these 4 ways that I just gave you helps you get more present, helps you find the power underneath the fear, helps you to get more focused. Does this all make sense? Let me hear a yes in the comments if it does. And if you have some questions about the things that I was just talking about, be sure to put them in the comments. I'd be happy to elaborate. If you want to continue topics like this, be sure to go over to Facebook. I have a group called Brilliant Possibilities. We'd love to have you in there. And if you could use a little bit more support around this topic of fear in your life, I do offer free discovery calls and I offer mentorship. So you have support, you're never alone, and we are in this conscious collective together, raising the vibration, remembering our greatness, and offering more brilliant possibilities to the world. Thank you for being you and being here on the planet right now. Namaste.